And we'll start the recording. All right. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you're in. This is the Skeptically Speaking show. We're talking about the new mayor. The new mayor of New York. I tell you what, I couldn't be happier. Is anybody else happy about the mayor of New York? See, it was either that or the same old corruption, you know? Aren't we all sick of the corruption? Aren't we all sick of the boys club? You know? It just gets old. It really does. It just gets old. But anyway, everyone thinks New York is going to go to hell in a handbasket, and I have to ask the question, why? Why do you think that? You know? Camera 3 again. Let's try to get this moving. I swear, if I just have one normal day. Ay, ay, ay. Gonna deactivate. And then activate. I don't know why it does this to me. Anyway, I can't have one good stream where the camera. Yes, because they are miserable and want to be in hell with their God. You know, Lexi, I have to agree to a point because, I mean, we see their misery every time. They're just miserable, miserable, miserable. And they're only happy, their only happiest is when they make everybody else miserable around them, you know? It's funny how that works. It's really sad. It really is. But, you know, there's nothing you can do. You know? There's nothing you can do. You can't talk them out of it. You can't say, hey, guys, it's great. It's great over here on our side. We want every child taken care of. We want everybody clothed and fed. We want everybody housed. We just witnessed a billionaire get married not too long ago. He literally rented out, I kid you not, rented out the city of Venice. Can anybody else tell me if I'm wrong? He rented out the entire city of Venice. One of the richest men in the world had enough money to rent out an entire city. You tell me he has too much. You tell me he doesn't have enough money. Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me if he needs more money, if he needs more bailouts, if he needs more government subsidies? You know? I mean, does this guy need another bailout? Does he need more government welfare? When is enough enough? When does a billionaire have enough money? Can anybody answer me that? You know? Tell me how this works. Oh, man. Well, we've got a show for you. I've got a show for you. We've got all kinds of videos today. And we'll see how far we get in the show. But so for those of you who don't know, I'm running a stream on YouTube, Skeptically Speaking. So while you're watching on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see any of the videos that I'm showing, and you're not going to be able to see the graphics. So if you want to see everything that you would see normally on YouTube, you got to go to YouTube, Skeptically Speaking, and subscribe to my channel, please. And you'll get alerts. By the way, if you haven't, please become a skeptic. Hit that orange heart in the corner and become a skeptic for 1 TikTok coin, please. And if you'd like to support our work, we would more than love to have you. Link Links in the bio, Cash App, Venmo. So we want to become independent media. We're going to talk about the stories that, I don't know, CNN just doesn't want to host. They don't want to talk about it. They're afraid. It's like they're afraid of billionaires. They're afraid of Donald Trump and Trumpism. To which I say, to hell with that. Yes, protesting. We need more protesters. I shared a video on TikTok. Well, actually, I made a video on TikTok about a young toddler holding up their handmade scribbled sign. And I tell you, that is probably one of my favorite, that's one of my favorite protest signs. Because you know that toddler skipped nap time just to make that sign. And someone said, oh, that was from a women's march years ago. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just now seeing it, so it's news to me. And now it's news to you. Okay. Let's start out with a little music, shall we? Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why. My camera just decided to stop working on YouTube.
Come on, arise and win. Yeah, we're going up around the bend. There's a place up ahead and I'm going just as fast as my feet can fly. Come away if you're going. Leave the sinking ship behind. Come on, arise and win. We're going up around the bend. Yeah, come on, arise and win. We're going up around the bend. Ooh.
That was the Hey Goods on TikTok. So please, if you can, give them a follow, give them a shout out. They do good work. I love their, yeah, I don't know why the camera just decided we're not working today. So I've tried to deactivate it and activate it, but it's still not working. So whatever. Gonna be like that? Fine. All right. I don't know. Here's a graphic about the Naked Gun reboot. Now, I don't know if you've seen the Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson is going to be the clueless inspector on this one. They're going to reboot the entire movie. I did see the I guess you could say the preview. There are funny bits in the movie, but I don't know. Liam Neeson just doesn't seem to be, he's not a funny person, you know? He's more of an action star. He's more of a serious character. I don't know. So I don't know if you've seen the new Naked Gun series. It's coming out August 1st. So I'm sure they've already finished wrapping up shooting by this time. So whatever. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There are some funny bits there are funny scenes. I don't know. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it, but I don't know. What are you going to do? But it's like I have to punish myself because I have to see if it measures up to the original Naked Gun series. Naked Gun 1, 1.5, 1 3/4. It's crazy. Leslie Nielsen to me will always be the Naked Gun bumbling policeman. Have you heard of Trump's got a new scam? I don't know if you've heard this. Trump has a new scam. It's the new Trump cell phone. The Trump mobile quietly drops Made in America smartphone promise. Trump's organization's venture now says devices will be brought to life in the U.S. So that means they're going to be made in another third world country. Can you imagine that? Donald Trump is going to make, he has Make America Great Again cell phones, but they're not going to be made in the United States. I mean, of course. And of course, I wonder if it's going to be as good as remember the Candace Owens Freedom phones years ago? Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to work just as well. There were a few people who actually bought it just to see what it would do, and it was trash. It really was. It was a trash phone. You know, what can you do? You know, what can you do? But, yeah. If it's not one scam, it's another. Thank you, Donald Trump. Without you, whatever. Oh, I wanted to talk about the new mayor of New York. The city has fallen. Okay. So this is a tweet by Pastor Locke, Pastor Greg Locke. I don't know if you remember him. He was famous for a while as being the anti-mask pastor who would always bitch and moan about having to wear a mask. Anyway, this tweet is from Hemant Mehta, the friendly atheist, and he quote tweets Pastor Locke. And so the friendly atheist said, "This is how I found out that Zoran Mamdani might actually win." This is what Pastor Greg Locke had to say in his infinite unwisdom. New York City has fallen. The demonic sounds of Islamic prayer calls will soon be heard throughout the streets. Oh, the trash will pile higher than ever. Jews and Christians will be hated. Rape will skyrocket. New York City will be the next London. Well, my question is, why is that a bad thing? Doesn't Greg Locke hate all of these big inner cities? Doesn't he? I mean, he hasn't had one good thing to say about Chicago, Los Angeles. He hasn't had a good thing to say about New York, Philadelphia. You know, I mean, this guy, the bitch from Tennessee just will not shut up. You know, he just bitches and moans about everything. And, oh no, rape will skyrocket. Well, first of all, New York isn't in the deep south, so I don't think rape will skyrocket. New York City will be the next London. Well, there's a lot less pew deaths in London. There's a whole lot less guns. So, you know what? In that respect, I'm okay with that. We're not any safer with having access to firearms. You know, we're just not. The more firearms you have in society, the higher the chances of somebody unaliving due to an accidental death. I mean, we've had reports of pets, because they're carrying them on their holster, so the pet will jump on their owner and literally the gun would go off because the pet, the pet dog would accidentally get his paw stuck in the trigger guard. Or a toddler will find it in the seat or in a glove box. Unbelievable. But you know what I like most about the new mayor so far? There's going to be no Cuomo. Zoran Mamdani declares historic victory in New York City mayoral primary after Cuomo concedes. And you know what? As soon as I heard that Cuomo was running again, I had a feeling, I just wondered, is this going to be the day? Is this going to be when he wins? Cuomo wins again. Can you imagine? Because I heard a lot of people, I mean, it was a lot of chatter on, TikTok that Cuomo might just pull it off, but I guess TikTok isn't everything. Alan writes, but think of the implication. If he's not Jewish or Christian, surely he will be morally corrupt. I know. Can you imagine a corrupt mayor who's not a Jewish or Christian? Can you imagine a mayor, by the fact that he's not Jewish or Christian, that automatically makes him morally corrupt? Can you imagine believing this? As if Christianity or being Jewish gives you a moral standing. As if you have a moral high ground or something. Miss me with that shit. What is this live about? It's about anything and everything you can think about. I'm not real. I believe you. You're not real. You know, it's just amazing to me. And I'll tell you what, it was a close shave. This is from the New York Times. Zoran Mamdani stunned former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who conceded in New York. I know, even the New York Times is surprised. Even the New York Times is a little shocked and taken aback, like, whoa, my goodness. Oh, no. Somebody who's not in the DNC clique, somebody who's not in an establishment drone, oh, no. He might shake things up in New York. I don't know if we can take this. I don't know. Oh, this is just too much to take. You know, it's unbelievable. And we're going to be playing a few clips from Democrats who just literally just dumped on this guy. I mean, they literally just, it felt like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama again. Remember that? Hillary Clinton had a few choice things to say. I mean, they already want to try for Cold War 2.0. I mean, my goodness, these people, I don't get it. They're the ones screaming about no new wars, right? That's what they said. Oh, my goodness. If Kamala Harris gets elected, she's going to get us into war. I mean, they said the same thing about Hillary Clinton. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. This was a picture of a woman dressed in all leather with a whip. And there's a bunch of women, I guess, whipping men. This is the future the liberals want. This is a famous meme that's been going around for the last 10, 15 years. These are the camps that Zoran's wife is going to run in New York City now. A fucked up fate that I would not wish on my worst. I mean, does this guy know? This guy, Drew Pavlou, on Twitter, does he not know that this is a joke? Right, the Red Scare. They're trying that Red Scare bull over affordable groceries and social services. I know. I thought they are really trying. They're really trying to scare us. This is, I mean, I have never seen so many poor people simp for billionaires. By the way, please hit that orange heart above my head and join the Skeptic team for a cost of a coin. We'd love to have you. And also, please throw some chili peppers my way. Throw a bunch of hot spices. I could use a little spice in my life. I won't say no to chili peppers. This is a post from Betty Bowers. Notice the New York Post. This is the scare tactics are just off the chain. And you want to talk about Red Scare? Yes. This is what Betty Bowers said on Bluesky. She says, I love how the right is trying to scare us by saying the United States is turning into one of those European countries with great mass transit and free healthcare. Oh, free healthcare? No, please don't throw me in the briar patch. My goodness. New York Post has a New York City SOS. Oh no. Pandemonium. Yes, red alert. Literally, they use the word red alert. Can you be any less serious right now? Red alert. Yes, SOS. We gotta warn everybody. No. My goodness, I swear, these pansies. These are not serious people, and you cannot take them seriously. You really can't. Oh my goodness. This is why we don't have universal health care and free education, but Israel does. I want you to pay very close attention to this. This still blows my mind. I knew about this 10, 12 years ago. These statistics are enough to make a grown man cry. Listen to this. America has paid over $300 billion to Israel since World War II. America spent $10 trillion in the Middle East wars since 1990. Yeah, won't someone think of the military-industrial complex? We have enough money to build booms. We have enough money to build the state-of-the-art weapons, and we have enough money to ship weapons all over the world, but healthcare is just too much. We can't have that, right? We have been robbed as we pay 30% of our lives in taxes while our country's politicians cater to a foreign entity. All of the money we're giving Israel, that could go towards veterans. You know how Republicans scream about veterans living on the streets? Remember that? Remember they talk about, think of the veterans. Won't you think of the veterans? It's veterans month. Why are we thinking of LGBTQ? What about veterans? You know, it's like, what the absolute fuck? What are we doing? We're giving untold tax write-offs, subsidies to billionaires. We're giving them write-off after write-off. The biggest welfare queens in this country are the billionaire class. No, they don't care, Sarah. They don't care about veterans at all. At all. Because they never, when it comes to legislation, when it comes to voting, when it comes to actually giving veterans what they need, what's the first thing they do? What's the first thing they do? The Republicans vote against any legislation that would put veterans into housing, affordable housing. How many veterans do we have on the streets? I've forgotten. There were statistics I read during the first Trump administration, blew the hell out of my mind. Yeah, billions of years to Israel. Yes, to Israel, but U.S. citizens get medical and food assistance slashed. Exactly. Not at this time, Sierra. If you're still around at the end of the show, I will bring you up. Not a problem. I don't mind bringing people up, but I just got to get through this show. We got a lot to talk about, and there's just so many things. Again, people who are just scaremongers. For those who are paying close attention, here are some of the things that Mom Dami believes in. The new mayor of New York. I'm hoping he gets it. He won the primary. Let's see what he does in the general. He wants free buses, free childcare, and childcare workers equal to teachers. He wants childcare workers to make the same thing that teachers pay. Free city university tuition, minimum wage $30 an hour by 2030. That's around the corner. He wants to end mayoral control of schools. He wants city-owned grocery store programs. He wants to raise corporate and individual taxes for high earners. Remember, we're talking those who are making six figures, okay? 100,000 and higher. They would get a tax increase. For those not paying attention, I would venture that nearly all of these policies have major support among Democratic voters, and more than a few would have majority support among all voters. And also, CUNY tuition free was free until the 1970s. There were certain cities or certain universities that had free tuition programs all the way up into the 1970s, until the Republicans started tampering with the tax codes. And the only way they could fund the tax breaks to their millionaire buddies was to end free tuition assistance. That was the only way he could do it. And I believe that was under the Nixon administration. Yeah, he wants to decrease the power of the mayoral office. Right. Again, I mean, this should not be a red flag to people. I don't get it. Why do people just cringe at the thought of a mayor coming to power and say, you know what? The mayor shouldn't have so much control over certain schools, or actually any of the schools, as a matter of fact. What is it that the Republicans keep yammering on about? They keep yammering on about smaller government, less control. Yeah, Reagan and Nixon started that. Yes, that is true. That is true. We can lay all of these ills. You want to know why your dollar doesn't stretch as far? You want to know why it costs more for healthcare? You can talk to Nixon and you can talk to Reagan. Every time. It's always a Republican breaking the system, and then the Democrats are left holding the bag. I don't see this empire lasting much longer. Perpetual conflict is not a good long-term model. True. True that. Imagine being mad at the guy who ran on free childcare, rent stabilization, won a primary, but not mad that seniors in wheelchairs got zip-tied at the Capitol for saying, hey, please don't unalive us by cutting off our health care. Did you know right now they are arresting elderly in wheelchairs, zip-tying them and escorting them off premises for daring to protest their cut to Medicaid, the cuts to their health care. Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, you know what? It seems that in Illinois, somebody has come across my desk. I always struggle with her name. Her name is Kat Abugadzela. Let me try it again. Abugadzela, I think. She's the one who was photographed flipping the bird to a bunch of anti-LGBTQ protesters. I can't post the... You want to post a link for that? Google's free, my guy. You don't even have to get a link. Just say, look at all the programs that... oh, yeah, Kat. Oh, you know who Kat is. Yeah, so she gets photographed flipping off a bunch of bigots who showed up at a pride parade. And she said, you know what? I am not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for standing up against our LGBTQ. Let's see if I can do it. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to apologize for standing up against bigotry and homophobia and transphobia and whatnot. And basically, these assholes were holding up signs saying, you're going to go to hell. And so she just said, boop, and said, fuck you, you go to hell yourself. Let me see. Anderson Clayton is the North Carolina Dem Party chair, and I love her as well. I don't know that I've seen her. Youngest party chair in the U.S. Okay. All right. I'll have to look her up. She has not come across my desk yet. But don't mind learning. All right. Let's play a few videos from Kenny from Too Raw to Real. Strap in, because this is where the shit hits the fan, folks. Here we go.
Like most white people do, Bernie Sanders thinks it's cute to pit two people of color against each other and paint false equivalencies between a mayoral primary versus a whole presidential election. One person had the ability to run a successful primary campaign in more than 8 months in the most populous progressive cities in the United States versus someone who only had 100 days and about 3 months to run a whole entire presidential election nationwide. As I said before, Kamala Harris and most black elected officials are super nigga. You know, the expectations of us is a lot higher compared to others. But this video isn't about Zoran Mondani. It's more about Bernie Sanders and how Bernie Sanders is trying to sabotage Zoran's mayoral race because he's already struggling 20% when it comes to black support. But you think beating down the first black woman presidential nominee is going to somehow get people to vote for Zoran Mondani? It just doesn't make any sense. If I was Mondani, personally, I would distance myself from Bernie in these types of talking points because Bernie couldn't get the black support himself. He lost 2 presidential primaries because he lacked the black support. You know why he lacked the black support? Beating down Obama didn't help. Missing black experiences and chopping it up as just identity politics, offering populist policies without adding any non-discriminatory provisions that will stop black people and people of color from being left out. All I'm saying is this isn't helpful. Beating down the first black woman nominee is not going to get you the black support in the black community. It's just not going to happen. Being inclusive and making sure that you have non-discriminatory practices like a civil rights task force that do pattern and practice investigations, making sure that your populist views and your social programs won't be discriminatory and actually benefits all people, not just the white ones.
You know, it's amazing. When I first heard of Bernie Sanders, when he first came onto the scene, I have to say I was excited. I got his book on CD. I listened to his audiobooks because I was just working nonstop. I just didn't have time to sit and read a book. And I have to say I loved the ideas that he brought forward. Years later, I come to find out that a lot of the ideas that Bernie Sanders put out, they were already old. People had been Hillary Clinton had been talking about quite a few of them way back in the 90s, and I'm just becoming aware of them during the Bernie Sanders bubble. But one thing I didn't realize was he didn't have the black vote. And the reason he didn't have the black vote is because he downplayed racism within his group. He didn't take any of it seriously. He didn't do anything to be responsible for it. He just kind of brushed it off, and he was dismissive of the black experience, black people and their suffering. He just seemed to be, nonchalant about it. And so black people said, you don't have our support. And a lot of racists on Twitter, especially, a lot of racists came out of the woodwork and started attacking these personalities on Twitter when Twitter was the big thing. And it was sad to see. But I'm glad I actually got to see it firsthand. So I realized that Bernie Sanders was not a viable candidate. He had a lot of good ideas, but he didn't really have a plan on implementation. That's the key. Implementation is everything. All right, next video.
Now that the mayoral primary is over, can I say my piece? Can I say my piece? First off, congratulations, Zoran Mondani, for your decisive win in that mayoral primary. You had a lot going against you, and your ass was able to make it through. Secondly, just because somebody is critical of the Israeli government does not mean that they're anti-Semitic. Thirdly, centrists, you asked for this. You've been begging progressives to run on a local level, and Zoran Mondani did that, and guess what? He won. Get over it. So what? He's a self-proclaimed socialist. There's a fascist in office, but I guarantee you this, he's better than a Republican. Fourth and foremost, leftists, now is not the time to be motherfucking racist. I know y'all asses had that draft ready to motherfucking go if Zoran had lost, but that was not the case. But here's the issue that's happening right now, and I'm waiting to see more information on the exit polls to see how much he polled when it comes to black people. It's not that black people don't believe in socialist policies. The problem is we have an issue when it comes to the system. The system is, even when these social programs are implemented heavily, black people are discriminated and left out. Black people have been promised that we would benefit from certain policies, but been left out disproportionately when it comes to quality education, housing, legal representation. And before you dismiss it and just claim it's identity politics, there is data, actual evidence that backs that there has been explicit bias when it comes to black people, when it comes to these social programs. And even when we're talking about child welfare, and this is according to NYCLU, Even though black people make up 23% of the population, did you know that 38% of black children are reported to the family regulatory system and 52% are snatched and taken from their homes? So again, even when the system has benefits, it can work against us and harm us. So what I'm offering is a solution to a lot of black people's hesitancy when it comes to these social programs. What I would like to see Zoran Mondani implement or suggest is a civil rights task force, a permanent civil rights task force that will do pattern and practice investigations into these social programs to curb the discrimination that's plaguing the black community in New York City. I can acknowledge that there's existing task force, but unfortunately they're not doing what they need to do for the people because there's still statistics showing that black people have still been left out. But that's just my suggestion before the general election, is building a coalition around Zoran that's going to be inclusive, that's going to deal with all the disparities that's impacting all marginalized communities.
Yeah, that was Kenny from Too Raw Too Real. So if you ever get a chance, give him a follow on TikTok. Always has some great things to say and some words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom. But yeah, he never ceases. I tell you what, he never ceases to educate. And we need that now more than ever. We need... Whoop. One second. Yeah, all right. We're going to switch audio real quick. Okay, can you hear me now? All right. Okay. Well, we're going to keep trying. Goodness gracious. I'm getting plagued all over the place, aren't I? It's the deep state. They don't want me to... Oh, goodness. Whatever. We're going to still continue. All right. Yeah, let me know if it goes wonky again, because that means I've got two mics going on. If it turns on, I'll keep an eye on this one. I want to make sure it doesn't turn on and then I have two sounds back to back. Anyway, moving on. Good to see you, Athena Francis. Where was I going? Oh, one last Kenny, Too Raw, Too Real. We'll do one more video.
Imagine this. I walk up to you and slap the hell out of you in front of everybody in the damn room. And then all of a sudden I say, I want peace. There should be no retaliation. Now, what realm of reality am I living in? Because that's exactly what Trump just did. That's exactly what just happened.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
So apparently Trump had a time last night, and he decided to get drunk and drag us into a conflict that has nothing to do with us. He used B-2 stealth bombers to go after 3 nuclear facilities in Iran without congressional approval because he believed that Iran is closer to building a nuclear bomb. Even though in March, his director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said that there's no evidence that backs this.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
America, we did this already. Okay, we did this during the Bush era. Remember, weapons of mass destruction, which made us invade Iraq. We went over there, lost thousands of troops, and we didn't even find a fucking firecracker. But you know what I'm finding on my timeline? Old videos of Kamala Harris. That little girl was me telling us that all of this would happen.
This president is thinking about putting us in a position where we're in a war with Iran. The consequences will be absolutely unacceptable and tragic in terms of the young men and women who are American soldiers who would be sent and deployed into something that was completely avoidable.
But remember, MAGA and Tupelo, Tulsi, Gabbard, and Gabbard told us that Kamala would lead us into war and Trump would be the president of peace. Well, the only thing he's a piece of is a piece of shit. Because along with promising peace, he also promises lowering the prices of goods. And if you didn't know, Iranian parliament decided that they're possibly going to close or start the closure of Hormuz, meaning the prices of gas are about to go up. So if I was you, I would take my ass to the station and fill up.
Yeah. Oh, you know, it's like unbelievable. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not one thing, it's a motherfucking other. And I love Kenny's just telling it like it is, because we need to hear it. We need to hear unvarnished truth sometimes. It doesn't always have to be polished either. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I don't need, soft speeches and everything. Just, give it to us true. This is what happens when you put drunks in charge of our military and in charge of our national security. This is what happens when you put drug addicts like Donald Trump in charge of the executive branch. This is what we get. This is what we get. Unbelievable.
Don't have rights in the Middle East. Baby, we live in a country where you can be 12 and a mom. By the way. Like a friendly reminder and a wake-up call, we live in a male patriarchy society where women get paid less and blame more. So, what's that clicking? We live in a country where it was built off traditional values of women staying home, men fighting wars that they even created. But hey, let's suppress the women even more, as they already are, right? And bomb their country too at the same damn time. Yeah, that's the fucking logic, by the way. You sound like a literal idiot and anti-feminist when you say shit like that, when you use that as a justification for why America should destabilize the entire Middle East. When this country literally tokenizes women. You can't tokenize women and oppress them in your own fucking country. The countries that America want you to believe that are oppressing women are the same countries that have the most highly educated women ever. Oh, and let me not forget maternity leave. And it's not clocking to you that women should also get maternity leave. Yeah, that. And no, I'm not a mommy. I'm just a mamacita with no reproductive rights because politicians want to make medical decisions for women. Yeah. Oh, women's rights exist. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, she has a point. That is from Sedan is not a car on TikTok. What if you couldn't hear her properly? What she was saying is everyone talks about how women are treated or mistreated in the Middle East. They keep saying how women in Iran or Saudi Arabia or this or that country, how they're oppressed and they're this or that. It's like, have you seen the United States recently? Have you seen the U.S.? Have you seen it? Have you seen how women are treated in this country? We just had a woman in Georgia who was clinically dead and pregnant at the same time. They kept her body alive until they had to cut the baby out of the womb because the mother's body was decaying. Do you understand what I just said? They kept a woman's body that was dead. They kept it functioning barely via machine just to keep a fetus viable. The fetus was 1 pound when they did a C-section. It was an extraction. It wasn't just it was horrific. That is happening in the U.S. Women who have miscarriages in southern states are being charged with attempted murder in this country. I don't want to hear squat about how women are treated in Muslim countries. I'll tell you what, in Iran, women are not dying waiting for medical care in a hospital parking lot. I'm sorry. They're not. In Saudi Arabia, it's not happening. Okay? In Jordan, Syria, Libya, name the country. How is it that pregnant women in those countries, we call third world countries, even African countries, women are treated much better than here in the U.S.? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. What am I missing?
You said today that Mamdani is too extreme and the absolute wrong choice for New York City mayor. Why?
He ran a campaign based on a bunch of promises, free everything, without any real economic plan to pay for it other than raising taxes. We are facing a cost of living crisis. It is hard for families to get by.
Yeah, you raise taxes on billionaires, millionaires and billionaires. That's how you keep these programs funded. It's really not that hard. Lily?
You said today that Mamdani is too extreme and the absolute wrong choice for New York City mayor. Why?
He ran a campaign based on a bunch of promises, free everything, without any real economic plan to pay for it other than raising taxes. We are facing a cost of living crisis. It is hard for families to get by. By raising taxes, you are not lowering costs. In fact, you're just passing them on to others.
Why does she sound like a Republican? She's got a D next to her name. She's a Democratic lawmaker, right? Why does she sound like a Republican? Why is she using Republican scare tactic talking points? Can somebody answer me that?
You said today that
Costs. In fact, you're just passing them. You are not lowering prices. It is hard for families to get by. By raising taxes, you are not lowering costs. In fact, you're just passing them on to other folks. New York City is the economic engine that drives our state, and we need to make sure New York City thrives.
the mayor of New York can't raise taxes. That's not what he doesn't have that power. That belongs to the state legislature and the governor.
Yes, that's in fact, and he ran this campaign with all these promises about all these things that he was going to do, and most of the things that he promised to do, he actually cannot do legally. And the things that he can do, he's grossly underestimated the costs by tens of billions of dollars. I think it's incumbent upon my Democratic colleagues to speak up and to...
No. We're not listening to any more of that. The rich pay a much lesser percent of income than close to the poor woman does. Right, exactly. I didn't get her name, but I think she's a New York Democrat. I don't even want to play this video. All right, you know what? I'll play the video again.
You said today that Mamdani is too extreme and the absolute wrong choice for New York City
Here we
mayor.
go.
Why?
He ran a campaign based...
Okay, this is Representative Laura Gillen. Representative Laura Gillen. If you are in New York, I beg you, please primary the hell out. She's from New York, a Democrat from New York, talking like a Republican. Fuck her and the horse she rode in on. How dare you? You know what? You don't even deserve to have the D next to your name. Go away. Join your Republican colleagues. You're more at home with the Republicans as it is. Where did we get this ridiculous notion that attacks on the morbidly rich, I'm talking about the obscenely rich, where did we get this idea that taxing them is somehow a bad thing? Making them pay their fair share. We haven't learned from FDR? Are you kidding me? I tell you what, these guys, they threaten to leave. Oh, if you raise my taxes, I'm going to leave. They tried the same shit with FDR. And you know what FDR said to them? He said, oh, well, you know what? If you're going to leave, I'll miss you very much. That was a Democrat. That was a rich Democrat, by the way. The Roosevelts were extremely rich. Extremely rich. In fact, FDR was considered a class traitor for siding with the poor. Now, don't get me wrong. FDR was a racist. I'm not going to paint him as if he's a cherub or anything. He had his racist moments. And don't get me started on the Japanese internment camps, but that's another story. But FDR had enough brains to know that you don't get yourself out of a depression by giving tax cuts to billionaires or millionaires at the time. It's like, we've learned nothing. That's why so many stupid people fall for MAGA. They fall for MAGA every time. This is why Trump loves the poorly educated. He literally said it. I love the poorly educated. The reason he loves the poorly educated is because they're easier to fool and they're easily led. They're easily led. Good to see you, Dardar. And this is it. It's called taxes. You know, I love the poorly educated because I'll tell you what. The most truest thing, the most accurate thing that Trump ever said was, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and pew pew someone and I wouldn't lose a single supporter. Literally said that. And he was and he was correct. He could literally stand in front of the middle of Fifth Avenue, unalive somebody, and he wouldn't lose a single supporter. That is how deep the cult is. That is how hard the cult runs. Everyone's asking, hey, where's Joe Biden? Where's Joe Biden? You know where Joe Biden was this past weekend? Joe Biden was in Missouri. Or, I'm sorry, not Missouri, Minnesota. Breaking, President Biden has arrived at the Minnesota state capitol to pay respects to the Democratic lawmakers Melissa Hortman and her husband, who were unalived at their homes by a MAGA assassin. Joe Biden showing his respects to the family and the survivors. That is where Joe Biden was. And everyone says that Joe Biden he's not all there. He's not there. Yeah, he is. He knows exactly where he is. He knows what he's doing. My God. He has enough empathy. He can sympathize with people who've lost loved ones. When have you ever seen Donald Trump do that? You know what I've heard Donald Trump say over the phone to a family member who'd lost they lost their husband over in Iraq and Afghanistan? They knew what they were signing up for. That's how deep Donald Trump's empathy goes. They're a bunch of suckers and losers. That's what Donald Trump thinks of the military. They're just pawns. Shut up. We don't need you. Okay, we'll do the puzzle piece. Even though you can see I'm right here. Verification. Yeah, go away. You know I'm here. Yeah, there's Joe Biden being a human being. And I know we've talked about Donald Trump's scam phone. We don't need to hear that. Oh, have you heard the latest? Tom Homan is feeling scared. Did you know that? You know Tom Homan, the guy who's in charge of all of the deportations of naturalized citizens and children with cancer?
Tom Homan says he has received so much hate for his positions on immigration that he is unable to live safely with his family. Anyway, have you all tried the Blackberry Dr. Pepper? This might be my favorite Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, that's about as far as my sympathy goes. You know what? Screw Tom Homan. Screw him. Fuck him and the horse he rode in on. I really don't care. Too bad. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says he has received so much backlash for his positions on immigration that he is unable to live safely with his family and is living separately from his wife. I think his wife is relieved, but that's besides the point. It's hard to feel bad for the guy who bragged about family separation and built his career on terrorizing immigrant families, all the while padding his pockets, consulting for detention centers. Sorry, Tom, it's called karma. Did you know that he actually gets kickbacks from detention centers? See, this is never really talked about. Did you know that, what's his face? Santa Monica Goebbels, that cretin. Miller. Timothy Miller, I think his name is. Ugh. Nasty cretin. He gets kickbacks from this nasty immigration policy as well. Here's a picture of a protester he's protesting against LGBTQ. He has a sign that says "Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall." Somebody's standing next to him with a sign that says, statistically, this guy is more likely to be a sex predator more than anyone here. The call is coming from inside the house, right-wingers. Call is coming from inside the house. All right, we're almost to the end. We're going to wrap it up. Oh, my goodness. We have a video. This is going to be some good news, I hope.
There's new fallout after this video shows a California landscaper being detained by federal agents in Orange County over the weekend in what evolved into a violent encounter. You see there CBP officers, they tackled Narciso Barranco to the ground after he was pepper sprayed. He had been using that weed trimmer on a job site, which is why you may see it there in the video. Agents are seen, you can see here, striking him several times before they put him in an unmarked car. Now, the arrest drew national attention, and we've learned Narciso is the father of 3 U.S. Marines. One of his sons telling MSNBC that his dad taught them to be appreciative of this country and to always give back. That son joins us now, Marine Corps veteran Alejandro.
Can you imagine that? Imagine you have 3 sons in the U.S. military, and you are getting the shit kicked out of you. I can't show you the video. It's on, you can see it on YouTube. If you go look for me at Skeptically Speaking on YouTube. This poor man is getting the ever-loving shit kicked out of him. Punched, his head is on the concrete and they're just punching his head. This is what they get for sending their sons to serve in our military. This is the thanks they get. Continue.
Alejandro Barranco, thank you so much, Alejandro, for being here. I know it's been a traumatic past couple of days. We've all seen that video. It's difficult to watch that encounter. That's your dad. What went through your mind when you saw it?
When I first saw it, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, "There's no way." Just the way they handled it was just so unprofessional. I was really mad. I was really sad, and I felt powerless.
I know you talked to your dad. You had a chance to visit with him. What is his status now? Is he physically okay?
He's okay. He's still in a little bit of pain. His eyes are still red. He still has the same clothes on as in that video. He has blood on his shirt. It looks like there's a fresh scratch on his forehead, and it's he's defeated.
What does your dad say happened here?
I haven't talked to him a lot about that, but I asked him what happened about it, like saying that they hit him or something like that, or he hit them. I mean, he said no, that at no point did he try to hit.
Yeah, so basically, just a bunch of fascists being fascists is what it boils down to. Absolutely disgusting and despicable. None of these people deserve any quarter at all. Well, we're going to leave on a positive note. Musk fires top Tesla exec amid plunging Tesla sales in Europe and China. So Tesla is still going down. Give him a hand. Yes, he was such a... Hold on. Nina, come here. Sorry, family pet. Yeah, Musk fires his top Tesla exec because, oh my goodness, Tesla sales are plunging in Europe and China. They've plummeted 27.9% on a year-on-year in May, partly due to brand damage from CEO Elon Musk's controversial rhetoric. Really? Really? Controversial rhetoric? That's the best you can come up with? Really? That's all it was? How about trying to take over our government? How about messing with our government programs? How about messing with Social Security? How about lying to the American people about fraud, waste, and abuse? And releasing your repugnant minions on our government. How about that? Screw you. Psst. Go to hell. I really don't give a damn. You want even more good news? Let's see if I can bring it up. Here's some more good news. Okay, it's not funny, but it kind of is. Okay, remember... Okay, I'll just tell you, I'll break it down for you. Okay, so there was a tourist from Norway, a Norwegian, if you will. He tried coming into the United States. He was detained by Homeland Security or whoever the fuck is in charge of that, and they demanded to see his phone. And after threatening him multiple times, finally he gave him the passcode to his phone. They found a meme of J.D. Vance, who's bloated and bald. Okay, the bad news is the Norwegian was detained and he was treated abominably. He was treated with absolute contempt. It was just terrible. Okay. The meme that was on his phone has been plastered on every major news outlet, rag, or what have you, and it's all over the internet. The meme that was on his phone. I tell you, these fascists are not smart. MAGA is not smart. If you don't want people making fun of you, this is the last thing you want to do. You don't want to start arresting people. Check out the YouTube chat. I'm not in the chat. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Hey, Sammy, you're asking for a link. I don't have it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a link to the video. All I have is personal copies of these videos. So I don't have a link to the video. You'll have to look for it. Whatever video you're looking for, you'll find either on Bluesky or X. So, sorry about that. I don't have a link to the video. Sorry. Maybe I should include, a few, links, but yeah, you know me. Path of least resistance. Anyway, so the reason I'm telling you this is now this meme has been splashed from one end to the internet, from one end of the internet to the other. It's just beautiful. This is the last thing you want to do if you're wanting to quell this rebellion. They're doing it all wrong. Unfortunately, the Norwegian had to suffer for it, but at the same time, it now has more traction. Hello, Chris. good to see you. Good to see you. Let's Farm, good to see you. 420 Atheist, good to see you. Sammy. All right, I think I got everybody on YouTube. My goodness, I didn't know we had that many viewers. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, so for those of you on TikTok, if you want to see what the YouTube viewers are seeing, you got to go subscribe to my channel, Skeptically Speaking. You'll find it. Easy to find. I'm still live. I won't be live for long because I'm going to be shutting down. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I enjoyed this episode. So keep tuning in. We got lots more commentary. And if you'd like to be a supporter of the show, please, we'd love to have your support. Throw us some TikTok coins. Become a skeptic. For a TikTok coin, you can be a skeptic. And if you've let your membership lapse, that's okay. Click on it now and renew, please. We'd love to have you. So, yeah, we'd love to have you. Anyway, we're going to play some music as we close out the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Skeptically Speaking, signing out. Whew, we made it. All right, finally signed out of Facebook, signed out from Instagram, signed out from Kick. Whew. And with that being said, time for me to sign out as well. Thank you so much.